Okay, so I'm going to give you another little update on the hurricane. I don't know if it's going to be my last one or not, but hopefully it will because I don't want to go on and talk about this forever. But I wanted to give everybody an update on what happened because I've seen a couple comments and also Dave's been trying to get a hold of me, and I don't know how else to get back in touch with him right now. And I'll get into that in a moment. Okay, if you saw my last video about Hurricane Irma, it was in the hours leading up to the point where it actually hit land, hit Florida, hit the Florida Keys, and as I said in that video, the Keys are going to get annihilated. They did. They took a lot of the brunt of the storm because when it came in, it was and hit there, it was a Category 4 storm because it actually skirted against the coastline of Cuba and actually, just kind of bumped off of Cuba the whole time. It weakened the storm. It weakened that eye wall of the storm. So what was a Category 5 storm, when I was reporting to you guys, it was a Category 5. It hit that, it was bumping off the coast of Cuba, and it finally weakened it enough to make it a Category 4, which is still not great, but it's better than a 5. Within hours, they were actually projecting the track to keep going west, and if it had done that, it would have hit me head on. So it was getting scary. It was really getting scary after that. I mean, it was so I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, I have family that live more inland than I do, and now it was threatening me more than it was threatening them. But it was threatening them because it was such a massive storm. With hurricanes, you don't want to be on. There's one side of a hurricane that you don't want to be on, and it's because of the, I think it's counterclockwise motion that it makes. I think. I'm not a meteorologist, so if I remember right, that it makes a counterclockwise motion. That's what hurricanes turn counterclockwise. So when they do, there's the east side of the storm is the side that you really don't want to be on. That's the side that demolishes everything. And it coming more west, that's exactly what it would have done with, not only with me, but it would have done that with my family as well. So yeah, we were pretty worried. We were pretty scared about all that. And I did a few Facebook Live posts on Bear on a Trampoline, our Bear on a Trampoline Facebook page, which you can go to, and you can see those there. I did a few Facebook Lives as it was happening, as much as I could, because we were losing power. And luckily, I didn't lose any power, like for hours or days or anything. I haven't done that yet, I say. It hasn't happened yet, but during the storm, my lights kept surging and flickering, and they would go off for a little bit and then come back on for and I mean for a little bit, like real little bit, they would go off and then 3 seconds, maybe 30 seconds later, they'd come right back on. So I didn't lose power for a long period of time, but it kept going in and out. So I tried to limit as much as I could, not only on my cell phone, but on my camera as well. The camera I use is from my previous cell phone. That's what I'm using to record all this. I don't use it as a phone. I use it just for the camera to record for Box Office Maniacs. So I don't use it as a phone, but I can still get on Wi-Fi. And so I was filming everything on those updates. I was filming with this phone, and I was still connecting to the Wi-Fi. which is not working that well right now either. So the Wi-Fi is not working well. The cell phones aren't working well, and that's a big problem here in Florida too right now. After the storm here, we've had more problems with our cell phones. So, because a lot of the cell phone towers, of course, took a hit. So the cell phones, and they're trying to restore all this. Not only that, there's over 1 million. I think it's around, or there was at the point that the storm came by. By the time it was done, there was 2 million people here in Florida, and I don't know if that's all businesses or all residents. I don't know which. It might. I think it's a smattering of both. I think it's both business and residents, but have been out of power. We've been out of power, and luckily I haven't. But there's places around me, and I don't know if you can. I'll shut up and stop talking here for a moment. If you can hear right there, that I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's a generator. There's a person with a generator 1 street over from me. So his generator's running during the day. I haven't heard it at night, but it's running during the day. So and that's just 1 street over. And here's the thing, I have power here. The houses right behind me, they have power. The houses on the other side of that street don't have power. That's what the power's like here right now. It's like, it's sparse. It's like, 1 street over, no power. You can be on one side of the street, there's power, and on the other side there's not. One of the main roads here is like that. At night, I've gone up there, or at least gone around my block at night here. They want us not to drive if we don't have to, and I'm trying not to drive if I don't have to, but because there is a whole lot of debris all over the roads and all over the neighborhood, and I'll talk about that in a second too. But one of the main roads up here, one of the main streets up here, you can literally go down it and it'll be pitch black on both sides, or on one side, or on the other side. It's like back and forth, alternate. Like this side will be black, that side will be lit, and the other side will be black, this side will be lit. It's kind of like that. And then, or both sides are dark. There's very few spaces where both sides are lit. So it's like that all the way up and down the streets. And the main street this main street is really bad. I'm sandwiched between 2 big main drags, and the other street is not as bad. It's not as bad, but there's places that are dark. So, like businesses, So like Burger King. There's a Burger King and a Hardee's, and Hardee's had power, Burger King didn't. So. And things like that, like all the way up. It's places like that. There's a Big Lots that's there, and Big Lots had power, but there's a Save-A-Lot in the same plaza, and the Save-A-Lot didn't have power. So there's stuff like that happening too. So, and out of all the people who've lost power, my county, Pinellas County, and I think it's Polk County, if I'm not mistaken, it's Polk County, that they took a big hit because they were on the east side of the storm when it came through. And Polk County got hit pretty bad. So they're trying to restore. Those are the 2 counties right now that are completely, there's the most people have lost the most power. My county and Polk County. So I do consider myself a little lucky, or fortunate that I didn't, but I feel for all those people who have. And actually, one of my wife's best friends, she's lost power at her house, and they're telling her that they probably won't get restored until the 19th, I think they said, and and how she lost power actually, and she took a photo of it and sent it to my wife, was there's a neighbor, I think behind her, that they had just installed a screened-in pool. They installed a pool with a screen, and they just got the screen done and everything, not too long ago, like maybe a month. And there's a tree now laying toward the screen, and the only thing that's holding that tree up are the electrical wires that are coming across the bottom half of the tree. It's literally just holding the tree up over the screened-in pool, and of course our that's where our friend's power comes from, and she's out of power. So so there's stuff like that, and yes, I've taken a drive around and looked at a lot of the damage. There's lots of tree limbs and lots of bushes and things, just strewn all over the roads. I mean, you can drive down the road and you see dead tree trunks and or live tree trunks, but just they might be live tree trunks, but they're just decimated. I mean, they're like wood chips now. It's like mulch. You're just driving through. There's electrical poles down. There's electrical wires hanging down everywhere. It's pretty extensive. Now, here after the storm, the other thing about the storm, about Hurricane Irma, was the storm surges, and at one point, it actually emptied Tampa Bay. Literally, like all the water in Tampa Bay was. It looked like extreme low tide. I mean, it was like all the water just where along Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa. Usually you can go down there, and that's why they call it Bayshores, because you're walking. They have a long bicycle sidewalk, for people to bicycle down and to skate and everything. People go down there and skate and bicycle and walk along the bay. Well, that was almost completely emptied. There was people actually walking out on the sand bed, when it happened. And that was just before it actually got here. So it pulled all the water out. And when it does that, it pulls all the water out, and then it rushes back in. And when it rushes back in, that's where you get all the flooding. Because all the storm surge, all the water just suddenly whoosh, comes. It's almost like somebody pulling it out like this with their hand and then letting go. So all of it goes whoosh, right back into the bay, and then it goes everywhere. Because it's got to go somewhere, so all this water from the Gulf of Mexico comes rushing back in. Plus, you have the storm pulling it as well. So there's a lot of places in Florida here right now. It's not like Houston, where like the whole place it looked like miles and miles of just nothing but houses in the middle of water everywhere. It's not quite like that, but the place, what it is like the rivers and all the streams and all the little creeks and everything are at capacity and over capacity, and they're still continuing to rise because that storm surge is actually still coming in. So that's all happening. So, and I wanted, like I said about the cell phones, we're having cell phone problems because a lot of the cell phone towers got hit. So, David, I know you've been trying to contact me. I know you've been trying to get a hold of me, but I can't use my cell phone for two reasons. One, because of the cell phone towers. And they're having a lot of cell phone problems because people can't call. And they're actually telling people on the news to not use your cell phone, to not call, just to text or email if you can. But the problem with that is a lot of texts are not getting through. So it's not, you can't text and you can't call. And then there's the Wi-Fi problem. So you have a lot of people that are out of power, so they can't use their Wi-Fi. And my Wi-Fi kept going in and out the whole time. And right now it's still kind of doing that. It's not as bad as it was during the storm, but it's bad now. I mean, it's like it keeps going in and out, and with the power keep going in and out, I keep losing Wi-Fi. So I haven't really been able to get online, and for a time I had my computer and everything all taken down and wrapped up and everything put away so that it wouldn't get, if I lost the roof of my house or something, I wouldn't get, hopefully not lose my computer. So I had that taken down, and all I have is my camera here and my cell phone, and that's it. So I didn't want to use my cell phone in case I had to call my brother and sister, my family, and I don't want to use my cell phone because I can't. I can't, because the cell phone towers aren't working right. So I know you're trying to contact me, and I can't. I gotta leave. Not only that, I gotta make sure, because we're still losing power here on and off. So I gotta make sure it's charged up when I can, and I gotta use it basically in emergency. As soon as I can use my cell phone, I will call you. I will get a hold of you. Okay, as soon as I can. Right now, this is it. What you're seeing is it. So we can't do any reviews right now because I can't stay on the cell phone, and it's not going to let me stay on the cell phone either. It does. It's going in and out and kicks you off. So that's that. So like I said, I don't know if you can hear that. That's going to be interesting if I can hear the power generator over there, because it's pretty, where I'm sitting, it's pretty loud. Oh, and also during the live feeds I was doing, or the live posts that I did on Facebook, I showed the day after, and I had already that's my air conditioner. I had already walked out to the outside to make sure I could go outside before I did that last live feed. So then when I came out and started filming things around, my battery died and my Wi-Fi went out. So I couldn't. I was actually trying to get back online and couldn't because the Wi-Fi was out. So but that's what happened there. And I think I kind of said, well, there's not too much damage around my house. There was actually a bit more than what I thought. It's not extensive damage. I mean, it's not major damage. I didn't lose any parts to my house or anything like that. But my back porch here, where I film, my studio, where I film everything, is flooded. I didn't know it because you couldn't see the water here. It was actually up underneath stuff. So like, I have a few chairs out here and everything. They're soaked. They're ruined because they're soaked. And there's the stuff on the floor that was sitting on the floor. It's either ruined or I've had to throw a lot of this stuff out. And the other thing I wanted to let David know is see, the thing about hurricanes is you prepare for them because they're coming. But once you get it all prepared, you have to take all this, and the storm's over, you have to clean it all up. You have to pull everything out and put everything back, and so it took us a couple of days to do that, and now it's taken us a few days to undo it. And on top of it, and I know there's lots of other people that have it worse than I do, because they actually do have damage to their house. If they got tree limbs and stuff in their house, or in their yards, or on the top of their cars, or whatever, trees have fallen, they're trying to dig themselves out of that. So there's plenty of people. I'm not complaining, because there's plenty of people around me that are much worse off than I consider myself fortunate, but I feel bad because I consider myself fortunate, because these people aren't, and they're having a rough time of it, and I feel bad for everyone that had to go through this. And like I said, the Florida Keys are annihilated. So I mean, they just got. I mean, they're showing the destruction on the news of what that looks like, and it's terrible. I mean, there's buildings and things just it looks like matchsticks everywhere. So the Keys got hit really bad, and the storm actually hit through the Marcos Islands, I think they call it, toward Naples, and it came up through there, and it actually did what I thought it might do anyway, was to come up through the. It actually did end up going through the middle half of the state. So it didn't actually hit where I was, but once it hit Naples and the Marcos Islands and all that, where it entered, it came in and did this zigzag up the middle of the state, and that's kind of what I thought it would do, which was a good thing because it did that. A hurricane is sort of like a disc. It's like a great big frisbee in a way. So all the air, there's air on top, there's air on the bottom, and all that is what pivots the hurricane. So once it hit that land, the land and the air, all of it together, just kind of pushes it like this, and tilts it. And when it does, that's what it creates. I guess what they call land shear or wind shear or whatever, and that's what starts to destroy the hurricane and slows it down. So by the time it got here to us, it was like a category 2, and by the time it got past us, it was a category 1. So, and a category 2 is still powerful. That's over 100 miles an hour winds that you get, and we were luckily getting wind gusts too, instead of where it's gusts of 100 miles, where it's not. Where there's gusts and then there's sustained winds. Where in the sustained winds, of course, it's continuous. It's constant 100 mile per hour winds on top of you. So over 100 miles, and that's what they got in the Keys. Down by the time it got to us, it was just wind gusts, and it was just surges of wind, constant. And all night long, that's all we heard was of our house, and the windows just. Whenever it happens. So it was pretty freaking scary. I mean, the whole thing was pretty scary. So that's what's been going on. I just want to let you all know I'm safe. Everything's, we're all safe here. I'm going to get up and running as soon as I can. As soon as we can get the cell phones going and the Wi-Fi continuously on instead of going on in and out. As soon as all that happens, I'll be back up and running and ready to go. As far as the reviews I've been working on, like I said in that one post, I don't know how long this is going to last, so I'm going to try to get Lethal Weapon 3 up this Friday if I can. I'm going to try to do that. If not, it might be next Friday. So that's just to let you know what's going on, and because I'm going to continue, I'm going to finish that series and get it up and posted for you guys, but I just don't know if it'll be this Friday or not, is what I'm getting at. And then Lethal Weapon 4, it's after that, I think, or I might just put it in, if it gets too close to October, because we're getting into horror month, by the way. We're getting into horror month, so if it gets too close to October, I'll probably just go ahead and put them both up. It might not be on Friday. I might just post them both. As soon as I get them done, I'll put them up, because I want to get them up before horror month. Okay, that's my goal, at least to get those 2 reviews up before horror month. So I've got a lot to do, and I've got a lot to work on. So. I'm going to let you guys go. I'll talk to you all later. Plus, there's something else I'm recording that's some news, some actual movie news. That's actual box office Maniacs kind of stuff. That's not Hurricane Irma. That I'm going to be posting for you guys too. So until then, see you all later. Please subscribe. Please, do everything we always tell you to do at the end of every video. please subscribe to us. Please leave feedback and comments. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. I'll try to answer you when I can, because obviously, like I said, my Wi-Fi goes in and out. Hopefully I'll be able to post this and not have a problem with it. I'll try. So talk to you later. Bye.